Hi students, we are going to do our notes in your geography student notebook. So you are on slide 13. Slide 13. Here we go. Our question is, how do I compare two things? So we need to write compare two things. Okay. Oops, not 22, Ms. Betty, 2. All right, if I go too fast, pause the video and catch up, okay? All right, first, two things or people. The first thing or the first object, we need to think of an adjective. We're going to type adjective, okay? Adjetivo, I think, en español. For our second thing, we're going to add letters to the adjective. So we're going to add ER at the end of the adjective. Let me show you what I mean. So here we have two trees. There are two trees. One tree, two trees. Okay? So for our first tree, number 1, we need to think of an adjective. I think trees are big. So I'm going to say the tree is big. So let's type. Tree number 1 is big. Big. Okay. Big is an adjective. Adjective. Okay. So there we go. We have an adjective for our first tree. Now we have to look at the second tree. Okay, here is tree number 2. Now this tree is big, but it is more big. So we have to add an ER to the end of big to make it bigger. Because ER says So tree number 2 is bigger. Bigger. Okay. Tree number 2 is bigger. We add ER to big. And I can even put little quotes around here so you know we have to add ER to big. That means it is more big, okay? Más grande, okay? All right, so let's take a look at the sentences then. If we're going to write a sentence about tree number 1 and tree number 2, we need to use the word than. Than. T-H-A-N. Use than to compare the two things, or in this case, the two trees. Okay? So our sentence then is tree number 2 is bigger than tree number 1. Okay? Here's tree number 2. Tree number 2 is bigger than tree number 1. So here's how we write that. Bigger than tree number 1. Okay, let's read this again. Tree number 2 is bigger than tree number 1. I'm going to put that in italics. Okay, students? All right, let's do slide 14. Now we have 3 trees. So the question is, how do I compare 3 things? 3 things. Okay, it's different. So 3 or more people or things. The first is the same. The first, we need to think of an adjective. Okay, like big. Big is an adjective. The second word is the same. We have an adjective plus ER, like bigger. Now the third, this is different. We need to add the word the. We have our adjective like big, and then we add est. E-S-T, est. Let me show you. Tree number 1 is right here. Tree number 1 is big. Tree number 2 is bigger. Remember? Tree number 2 is bigger. But now tree number 3 is the biggest. Tree number 3 is the biggest. So let's write the sentences. Tree number 1 is big. Okay, big. Big is an adjective, describing word. What is tree number 1 like? Well, it is big. Tree number 2. Tree number 2 is bigger. There's that ER, just like up here, We add ER to big to make bigger. Now tree number 3, we have to add the. So let's type the. And then big, and then est. We have to add another G, but we'll talk about that later. Est, period. Tree number 3 is the biggest. We add the and est to the word. So again, let's put these in a sentence, okay? We use est to compare the 3 things, okay? Tree number 1 is, what are you going to write? Tree number 1 is a, what kind of tree? What did we say? Tree number 1 is a big tree. Good. So then what is tree number 2? Tree number 2 is a, what's the word? Bigger. Oh, no, I'm sorry, students. No. Tree number 2 is bigger than. Remember from slide number 13, bigger than tree number 1. Tree number 2 is bigger than tree number 1. And now tree number 3 is the biggest tree. The biggest tree. I'm going to make these like this because those are our sentences. All right, students, when you are finished, you need to do our Jamboard practice and then your bingo card. Ask your teacher if you need help.